Good morning, Dr. Esron Ambarita M.Hum, and all of you who listen to me. I'm Espre Angelita from 7B, and here I wanna present my presentation about the role of psycholinguistics in language learning and teaching. Psycholinguistics as a study of the psychology of language is realized in language teaching. It helps to study the psychological factors that are possibly involved in language learning. Psycholinguistics focuses on the application of the actual language and communication. It is necessary to make a decision in applying various methods that allow students to easily understand the language. There are three important processes that are investigated in uh, in psycholinguistics. The first one is language production, the second one is language comprehension, and the last is language acquisition. Factors of effective language learning. The first one is intelligence. The term intelligence had traditionally been used to refer to performance on certain kinds of tests. These tests are often associated with success in school, and a link between intelligence and second language learning has sometimes been reported. The second one is aptitude. We may hypothesize that a learner with high aptitude may learn with greater ease and speed, but those other learners may be also successful if they persevere. The third one is learning style. Some people say that they cannot learn something until they have seen it, but such learners would fall into the group called visual learners. Other people who may be called aural learners seem to learn best by ear. Then, personality. Recent research investigating learner active anxiety in second language classroom acknowledge that anxiety is more likely to be dynamic and dependent on particular situation and circumstances. Next, we're going to motivation intrinsic. Motivation had been defined in terms of two factors. The first one is learners' communicative needs and their attitudes towards the second language. Learners have good attitudes towards the speaker of the language, they will desire more to learn it. Then motivation extrinsic. Teachers also influence on students' behavior on motivation in language learning. Teachers can give a positive contribution to students' motivation to learn if classroom has places that students enjoy coming to because that the content is so interesting. Then culture and status. Social factors at a more general level can affect motivation, attitudes, and language learning success. One such factor that is that social dynamic or power relationship between the language, and the last is age. Research found that age distinguishes children and adults learning second language is in certain aspects such as psychology, morphology, and syntax. Psycholinguistics approach and four language skills. The first one is psycholinguistics approach and listening skill. Psycholinguistics researchers have indicated that in teaching listening, the intrinsic and extrinsic difficulties should be overcome in order to reach a highly qualified listening activity. Intrinsic difficulty refers to the speed of the speech, number of unknown words, and prior knowledge about topic. Then, psycholinguistics approach and reading skill. Psycholinguistics approach resorts to text-based approach as a case of bottom-up processing so as to emphasize the comprehension activity and top-down processing to stress the fact that comprehension rests primarily on students' knowledge base. Then the third is psycholinguistics approach and writing skills. Psycholinguistics help in understanding the students' mistakes in writing. It has a clear contribution on spelling mistakes since in English words are not spelled as they sound. And the last is psycholinguistics approach and speaking skill. Psycholinguistics approach as a workable control over the field of teaching speaking as a skill. It has specified several difficulties on speaking such as students-oriented difficulty. Now we are going to discuss about the language teaching methods of psycholinguistics approach. The first one is natural method. This method believes that language learning is a reproduction of the way humans naturally acquire their native language. This method rejects earlier methods such as the audiolingual method. Then the second is total cycle response method. A, a spacious classroom is required in applying this method. The class ideally consists of 20 until 25 students. This method can be applied to teach children or adults. In this method, dictionary is unneeded because the meaning of words will be expressed by cycling activities. And the last one is Suggestopedia. Each meeting in this method is divided into 3 time allocation. The first is reviewing the previous topic through discussion, games, sketch, or the role playing. If students do some mistakes, teacher corrects it carefully to keep a positive atmosphere. The second is distributing the dialogue traditionally. And the third is releasing students. This is divided into 2 active activity and passive activity. That's all my presentation about the role of psycholinguistics in language learning and teaching. Thank you so much for your cooperation and attention. I hope you all learned some new and exciting things. See you!